Penn and Teller.
The TV show was good.
There we go. They have a show on Showtime called Bullshit, which is great. They're actually very good skeptics. They're also magicians, so they can pick out this stuff. Last May or June, I went to a class in Las Vegas, and we took when I was done, we went and saw Penn and Teller's show. And I gotta tell you, if you're ever in Las Vegas, go see that show. You'll be amazed. They're just good. And they'll sit and they're out in the lobby afterwards. You go up and talk to them. So I gave them a couple of our t-shirts, so they got our t-shirts.
Free.
Who knows who this guy is? This is Michael Shermer. He is the founding publisher of Skeptic magazine. He's the executive director of the Skeptic Society in California. Your magazine is the one I passed around that he publishes. He's at Caltech. He's also a professor of economics at Claremont Graduate University. I tried talking to him and get him to come here and give a talk, but I don't think we can afford him.
Not even for the novelty of North Dakota?
Unless they ask me to come in January, right?
Well, yeah. Here we go. We all can recognize this person. Carl Sagan. There we go. Professor of astronomy, cosmologist. He's the one that got the little gold record to go on Voyager as it went out into space. He was a very good scientist in of his own right. He was right up there with the National Academy of Science inductees. He was not inducted to the National Academy of Sciences because they felt he was too much of a popularizer of science. We need a popularizer of science. He worked with NASA. He wrote many books. There's a current little thing on the Skeptic magazine blog site where you can go in, and Michael Shermer has two authors that did a biography of Carl and talking about his life. Amazing man. So, Demon Haunted World. Carl Sagan, also one of my favorite movies. He wrote the book Contact. Who has seen Contact, the movie? Do you love that movie? I love that movie. It's great. He wrote that, got it finished before he died. He died of pancreatic cancer in 1996. He wrote the award-winning series Cosmos. Who have seen Cosmos? I have a copy of it.
The Starship of the Imagination was cool.
Oh, that's fantastic. We miss him. Remember, next week, November 9th, Carl Sagan Day. Who's this man?
Houdini.
Houdini. Very good. Houdini was a skeptic. Born 1874 and died 1926. An escape artist. He went, at the time he was around, there was a lot of people that believed in ghosts, and they would have seances and all kinds of things, and they would have little ectoplasmic manifestations, or the table would rise, and there would be thumps, you know, and everybody thought this was all real. he would go in, since he was a magician and he knows how to do this stuff, he would expose all these people. So he was a skeptic. Harry Houdini.
It's kind of ironic that one of his closest friends was Arthur Conan Doyle, who was one of the most credulous men alive.
Yep, he was.
Yes.
Who knows who Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is?
The guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes, yes. So, the current quote on the Minot Skeptical Society is actually from Sherlock Holmes.
Have you read any of the old back journals of the Society for Psychical Research?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Yes, it's really interesting stuff. It was a very skeptical organization, with the exception of some people like Conan Doyle, and that's what they did. Is they went to Houdini was a member, and he did a lot of that with his debunking as part of that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It just kind of finally folded in the middle of the last century. It lingered on for quite a while.
Wow. Okay. This is Harriet Hall. One of you may not know who she is. She has a blog called Skepdoc. I'm proud of her for a reason. She's a retired family physician. She's also a flight surgeon, worked for the Air Force. She also writes for Science-Based Medicine. She goes to TAM every year. She editor of Scientific Review Alternative Medicine. She's writing for Skeptical Inquirer. If you go to our blog, I have the link to her site if you want to go to it and see what she has there. A very fine physician and a very good skeptic. Adam Savage, Mythbusters. He's a skeptic. He wasn't before Mythbusters started, and with Mythbusters, he's actually become a skeptic. And he goes to TAM. He's part of, I think he's on the advisory board for the JREF Foundation now. I'd like to meet him. One of my favorite ones is when he was trying to collect the flatus in the bathtub. See if it would actually poison somebody if they kind of suffocate them, and I thought that was kind of funny. My residents know that I have a little CD from 1985 by a gastroenterologist who's at University of Minnesota, who talks about flatulence and intestinal gas. It was just as funny. I thought about sometimes copying that off and send it to Adam just for him to get an idea who that is.
Didn't you find their use of the word flatus interesting on that particular episode? I wondered why the censors didn't think they could just come out and say fart.
Yeah.
But they didn't throughout the entire episode.
Yeah. Well, it's like the guy on the CD I have from 1985, who the professor, gastroenterology professor, he talks with a kind of a nasal voice, and he says, "Yes, I will tell you, I'm going to use the word fart when I mean the explosive expulsion of intestinal gas. Because if I have to say that every time, this talk's going to last for hours." So. His name is Dr. Libby, who's at the University of Minnesota. Who's this? This is Phil Plate. Who knows him? Bad astronomer.
I went to school with him in Virginia, actually.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, cool. What's he like?
He is an excellent writer.
Uh-huh.
Excellent writer. Very clever guy.
I love his blog, The Bad Astronomy. It's just, and he puts up some of the coolest space pictures.
Yeah.
So, he's now president of JREF. I think he is, because James Randi stepped down as president of JREF, and now he's the president of it. So he also writes for another blog called Skepblog.